Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and today I am heading back to the movie theater. So it has been 5 months since late March that I have stepped foot inside of a movie theater. I went to the drive-in once this summer, but of course, it's a completely different experience. It's a completely different desire to go to the drive-in. Just as fun, just different. But starting August 20th, theaters in my local area started to reopen. And I personally am an AMC A-list member. Thus, once AMC started opening again, that was my theater of choice. And it was not a light choice. So I actually live with my grandmother who is over the age of 65. She does have some pre-existing condition. Thus, I presented it to her. She loves to go to the movies. She's been dying at home the last 5 months. So I said, here's the deal. You're going to make the decision. Whatever you say goes. If you want to give it a go, we'll see how it is. If you're not comfortable, we're staying home. I don't care how big the release is. We're not going out. She wanted to give it a try, see how things felt. So tonight we are going to see Unhinged. Now, I do know that AMC has put in place some safety protocols, including their seating. So when you reserve your seat or set of seats for your group, they are blocking out at least the seat on either side of you and your group. In addition, for non-recliner auditoriums, they are blocking out every other row. And then actually, I looked on the app for Tenet, and they're blocking the ones in front of you, the ones behind you, and the ones on the side. So you are literally in a square where no one can be directly around you for that film. That wasn't the case for the seats I reserved tonight, but just an interesting note. So I'm going to vlog, I'm going to film some of my experience tonight, and I will report back on my first experience back inside of an AMC theater. All right, y'all, we are headed in. I am at the theater now. Obviously, I have my mask. I also have some wipes, got my gloves on, and some hand sanitizer with me. I know they say they clean between, but I mean, I don't know that I completely trust this. I'm gonna be wiping this down. Certainly a little bit nervous heading back to the theater, but I thought I would vlog my experience heading back to the movie theaters for the first time since March. So, I'm heading in to see Unhinged, and I will be filming along the way. Roped off. Interesting to see. Okay, so a quick disclaimer that I am here with my grandmother. I come to most movies with her, but she is in a wheelchair for long distances, so we do get to be in the handicap seating, and typically that allows more room in that row. But AMC is blocking out a seat on either side of your party, so there's also that. But our theater doesn't look too full right now. However, when I went down to go to the concession to get my grandmother her beverage, there was at least one pair that didn't have any food or drink. Also didn't have a mask on. So I'm watching. But everything else here has completely changed. New lines, no refills. You don't go up to that station yourself. So honestly, being in the very back row, being on an island by ourselves, with the measures, right now I'm feeling okay. So That's just my perspective for the moment, but I'll keep you updated. All right, so we're back. We made it back. Now, of course, we're not going to know really if we contracted the virus or not, but we at least survived with minimal human contact tonight, which is a plus. Now, if you're looking for my thoughts on Unhinged, the film I went and saw tonight, make sure you check out my review. But this is just talking about my theater experience. So as I walked in, I wasn't able to get a shot of where they're taking your tickets or scanning your phones. Well, first of all, because my ticket was on my phone, so I couldn't really film and get it scanned. But also, you know, you had the worker literally right behind the glass, so it'd be a little bit awkward to just like straight up film her. But they do have a stand-e that has a small hole here in which they can just reach and scan your ticket or rip it, whatever the case might be. I get my tickets online. I don't deal with the paper tickets anymore, so no contact there. I really enjoyed having that glass to greet us right off the bat. As I mentioned, as soon as we got into our auditorium, we were in that back row in the handicap section, and that just allowed us to have a lot of room. Now, we did have people in front of us on kind of either side, but nobody was even in our row, period, which was really nice. The footage is grainy. I don't know if you can see what the heck I'm doing. But I did wipe those seats down all the way up. The buttons I got inside of that cup holder, the sides, the front part that reclines up, every part of that chair that I would be touching or she would be touching, I wiped it down with my disinfectant wipes that I brought into the theater. Now, something I noticed is that they do have little disinfectant wipe stations at the front of most all of the movie theater entrances. Also, there were a couple of hand sanitizing stations, but it's nothing like they make it seem to be, if I'm being honest. There's not a lot of them. And at my theater, when you go upstairs to where our seating was, where the handicap seating is in the big auditoriums, the bathroom water wasn't running for the women's bathroom, and they didn't have the wipes, and they didn't have the hand sanitizer pump. I didn't see any of that up there. So it seems a little bit strange to have the handicapped row, who are already predisposed to catching COVID easier than the average population, not have access to these things. So that was definitely a little bit worrisome. The concessions were completely different. They have made it pretty much contactless. There are no refills right now, so keep that in mind for the better or worse, depending on how you look at that. There's no self-serve, so the popcorn station is covered up. The nacho bar, where they have all that type of thing, all covered. You can't get your own, but you can request it. Same thing with beverages. Yes, they have those big Coke machines at the theater, but you actually go up, present your receipt to a worker who then gets your beverage for you. So no need to worry about contact at any of those stations. Plus they have the little circles to make sure you keep your distance. Now, while inside of the theater, it's a very odd thing for me because I understand why you're allowed to take your mask off, eat or drink while you're in the movie theater, but I mean, most people had something to eat or drink. A full bucket of popcorn and a soda, a large soda at the movies, that's gonna last you pretty much the whole film. So if you're sitting there nibbling it, I mean, you're not gonna wear your mask the entire film. It almost seems like a pointless precaution, if I'm being honest. Next, I saw at least two couple groups that came in that I found to be problematic. I mentioned one earlier. These two people sitting on the aisle seat, so I saw them as I was walking back up to my chair, that had nothing. They didn't have a beverage, they didn't have any food, and did not have a mask in sight. So I was like, oh, alrighty then. And then when we were up at our seats, this other couple walked in and didn't have their mask on. So I don't know if they got in like that, they just walked through the door, or they took it off as soon as they got anywhere dark, or what. I think AMC also made the promise of having some sort of like safety monitoring going on, where employees do their checks through the theaters like they normally do anyway. They just kind of like walk through at least once or twice throughout the film a lot of times. I saw none of that. I never saw an employee enter our theater. And even if they did, again, with drink and food, how are they going to tell who's abiding by this mask rule or not? So in that sense, I did feel a little bit uneasy. I'm not going to lie about that. I did have a drink, but it was a case of just kind of like sliding the the straw under my mask and keeping my mask on, because it just helps me to feel a little bit safer. Like I said, me and my grandma had gloves. I wiped everything down, y'all. I was cleaning and had my hand sanitizer. Overall, it felt okay. The next problem is, how are we going to keep enforcing this moving forward? How quickly are the rules going to become even more laxed than it feels like they kind of already are? So it all comes down to perspective. I think I had an overall positive experience. I did like the glass that I saw in several places. I do like the social distancing seating that is going on, at least through the app, to where it's impossible for somebody to select those seats at the least. But again, there were still some things that made me personally feel a bit uneasy. So totally up to you. It's totally up to your discretion. I just wanted to share some of my own experience. A lot of people did have masks, at least kind of on their chin as they were getting their popcorn or whatever, or they had them on their face as they were walking around, which was wonderful to see. Please, if you do go to the movie theater, wear a mask. Please abide by the guidelines. We want to get back to a place where everyone can go out and back to the movies, and we can start opening these nationwide. Comply with what's here so that we can get these numbers down and get people back to a regular feeling life, at least somewhat. My mask didn't bother me at all. I forgot it was even on my face, so that was never an issue for me personally. And of course, those workers all had masks and gloves on everywhere, which was wonderful to see. But also, as a customer, please just be respectful to those workers, most of which are working for low wages and are younger, yes, but deserve safety and respect, and they don't need to deal with people coming in yelling at them about not wanting to follow rules. So be respectful, please. Be mindful, please, both for the workers as well as for your fellow patrons who are just coming out to enjoy and partake in a hobby we all love and dearly miss and would like to get back to, and that can only happen if we all work together here. And that was my experience in my vlog returning to an AMC theater. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Have you went out to see a movie inside of an indoor theater? What was your experience like? If you haven't, do you plan to for New Mutants, Tenet, or another upcoming release? Let me know your thoughts and opinions respectfully, please, in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!